Hey, you're listening to Stop the Scroll, a social media marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Heidi Schmidt. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner with over 15 years of marketing experiences helping businesses grow online. We'll be diving into what you need to know so that you can show up confidently online without the overwhelm. Get your notebook ready to jot down some amazing marketing gems, and let's dive into it. Welcome back to another episode of Stop the Scroll. I am your host, Heidi Schmidt, social media strategist, social media agency owner extraordinaire, and I'm having some issues as I record this. My child was messing with my mic and my headphones because he loves playing on YouTube, he loves recording, he loves pretending that he's a weatherman. Like, he's obsessed with all of the AV stuff. And so we had this party a couple weekends ago. And he was hanging out upstairs in my office while we had this event. We hosted a fundraiser, and he messed with my headphones. So they're I'm looking at myself while I record, and they're all sorts of crooked. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Anyhow, welcome back. I'm getting my life together. So today I wanted to talk about this issue. I feel like I talk to clients a lot about this because you see, when I report on my analytics, I always report on follower growth because so much of follower growth, and while it's not like a key metric, it is a key indicator of brand awareness. It's one of those brand awareness metrics that we like to track. And a lot of my clients are like, but I feel like the number is not growing. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably saw my shifty eyes just there, because I really just hate getting hung up on the follower count. Because ultimately, tracking the unfollows is so unhelpful. Like, there are going to be people who unfollow you. And you know what? That is okay. They are not your audience. They're probably not going to buy from you. Like, let them go away. You know what they're doing? They're driving your engagement rate down because they're not going to engage with your content anyhow. So if you're one of those people who obsessively check your follower count, one, you're not alone. Everyone does it. Heck, I do it. I don't let myself get caught up in the number, but it's like, ooh, oh, people are going to unfollow, and that's okay. Ultimately, letting go of the follower count, like day over day, week over week. Like, I had a client the other day tell me, like, oh, I track followers, every couple weeks. And I'm like, why? Because ultimately, it's going to show probably more of those unfollows. Like, you're going to get caught up on those more frequently than you need to be. Like, I track them on a monthly basis for my clients. Like, I want to see follower growth. Some months it's going to be slower than others. Some months maybe it's going to be 5 followers. Some months maybe it's going to be 45 followers. Like, ultimately, it's not a number that you have much control over. You do, obviously. You want to be putting out quality content so that people want to follow you. Yes, you have control over that. But tracking those unfollows just does so much more harm than good. And here's why. Ultimately, we get caught up in our head about these numbers, about how many views our reel got or how many followers we have. And all that does is trigger anxiety and stress and feel like you're not good enough, and imposter syndrome, and all of the things. It's just that negative feedback loop that nobody needs to fall into because, again, what are you going to do about it? Is there something in your day-to-day life and business that you can do that's going to, one, stop someone from unfollowing you, or B, stop Instagram from purging all the bots that are probably following you? It's just going to exacerbate that emotional exhaustion that we all get from social media. Like, it's there. I think, we can all high five to social media triggering all of our imposter syndrome and anxieties and feel like we're not good enough for business. But, it's just such a emotionally exhausting roller coaster to be on when you just track the follows and the unfollows, and when you're like, oh no, 5 people unfollowed me today. Like, what good is that really doing for you? Because alongside those 5 unfollows, how many follows did you get? We've talked before I've mentioned in a previous episode about how social media is like attracting people onto your digital marketing booth. And every time you get a follower, it's like that's some person that's into your sphere. They are into your funnel. They're into like the very, very top part of your funnel. And now it's your job to drive them down and to convert them. So, me as a social media manager, it's my job to get people into our digital funnel, into that digital marketing booth, and make them stay and engage with us and ultimately convert. That's my goal for my clients. So, if I bring in 25 people, but like five of them walk away, that's still a net win. And so, tracking those unfollows is just like counterproductive because you're not celebrating the people who actually showed up, who want to learn more about you, who want to read your content, who want to see what you're putting out there. So don't let that number get inside your head and make you feel like you're not good enough, that you're not showing up good enough, that you're not doing whatever it is that you're not doing. So that's just like the psychological toll of tracking those unfollowers. Because who cares? Who cares? You have no control over anyone else's actions except for your own. You have no control over anything on social media except for how you show up and the value that you provide to your audience. So, unfollows don't necessarily reflect your true audience. They are not an indicator over whether your content is valuable or not. People unfollow for a myriad of reasons. Myriad of reasons. They could just be decluttering their feed, like, oh, I haven't interacted with this account, I'm just going to unfollow them because they're decluttering their feed. It could be their interests are shifting. It could be that they don't need you. Like, and that's okay. I have a client who's like, I don't want to be your therapist forever. So maybe eventually they're going to unfollow her because they're like, hey, I've fixed my relationship. So when you think about the whys psychologically behind why people unfollow us, none of those reasons that they were probably unfollowing you are reflective of you and your business as a whole and your online presence. I mean, unless you're putting out absolute trash content, in which case, let's talk. But instead, focus on how many new followers you're getting. And you can look at it like net new followers. Like, oh, I garnered, 5 people unfollowed me, but 20 new people followed me. So that's 15 people who followed me. Whatever it is that you want to track. But like, track the people who are coming up to your page. Track the engagement metrics, like how many comments, how many saves, how many shares. What are those getting? Because that's going to provide you with a clearer picture about whether or not your content's valuable. And it's going to provide that picture of, are people actually unfollowing you because your content's trash? There's such a emotional response to social media. And I feel like we're in this phase where like we're so engrossed in social media, but also there's a segment of the population who's also like, social media is a really bad thing. Like the echo chambers, when you look at politics, like the echo chambers are leading to this divisiveness that we have. And it's not a good thing for our society. Sorry, I studied political science. I geek out over those things. And the intersection of technology and politics is like fascinating to me. But there are long-term emotional responses to social media, both like personally, professionally, that are going to skew that perception of success. And all it's going to do is hinder your long-term social media strategy because you're going to feel like you're just always going to feel like you're not good enough. So focus on the audience that you have. Focus on how you engage them better and how you put out that valuable content that's going to show up on if you're on TikTok, the For You page, or if you're on Instagram, the Explore page, how does it get shown and served up to other people? And to that point, think about the engagement. Think about nurturing your audience and engaging them. And if they're not engaging with your content, like figure out the why. Are you putting too many calls to action in your content? Are you trying to be overly salesy? Are you hitting on their emotions? Because connecting with them on an emotional level is I feel like so much about what makes social media content successful, that relatability. People want to connect with brands and creators and influencers that they relate to. It's the same reason why, like I freaking love unboxing videos of, especially of outfits for petite women in their 40s, because that's me. But like, you want to trigger me, like showing off like cute outfits from new arrivals from Abercrombie and Fitch. Like that's, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. Like show me all the unboxing and all the cute outfits. Like that's my emotional trigger. So think about, get in the head of your audience to figure out what the emotional trigger is for them. And if you have to, talk to your current clients. Like, what are the things that are triggering them emotionally, that it's making them, either buy from you currently or set up that appointment with you? Like, what's going on with them that's really triggering them to come seek out your services or your products? When we focus on the negative things in our business, it's like an avalanche effect. And when you track those like unhelpful metrics like followers, likes, views on a reel, things that you don't necessarily have a lot of control over, like the thing that you can control, again, is putting out that valuable content that your audience wants to see. At least for me, when I get caught up in those like shitty metrics that maybe aren't trending in the direction that I want them to, I tend to get in my head, and then my content becomes desperate and I become salesy and I become like, the quality goes down. So think about how those numbers are getting in your head and how they're ultimately impacting your content that you're putting out. Like, is it becoming desperate? Is it diluting your brand? Is it diluting your vision? Is it diluting, like, are you using more negative words in your copy? Like, how is it impacting your creativity and the quality of your content? Because there are so many social media managers out there who are like, use this hook and use this, and it becomes less authentic and more formulaic. And yes, there is definitely a science behind hooks. I will drop my free hook guide that you can adapt to your own content. But ultimately, if you're just like copy and pasting something that another social media strategist says, this is what got me 50,000 followers in a month, which, God, is so flippin' clickbaity. It drives me crazy because honestly, like, I don't know if they actually got 50,000 followers. I don't know. But I have never, ever worked with a brand that was lucky enough to garner 1,000 followers in a month. I'm sorry. Like, I just have not seen it happen in the real world. And I've worked with hundreds, dozens upon dozens of brands and businesses. And I feel like the social media managers who say that are like getting hopes up unnecessarily. Because again, with the social media, like you control the quality and the value of your content and the value of your messaging. Nothing else is anything that you control. You don't control who sees your content. You don't see when they see your content. You don't control how many people see your content. We know on average that maybe like 10% of your audience is going to see your content. If it's good content, it might be more than that. Like, I mean, people pop off with 40,000 views on an Instagram reel. And, it's funny because a couple weeks ago, I actually put out an Instagram reel that was like, the audio was something like, I had a TikTok reach 1 million views. And the other person asks, did it change your life? Like, no. And absolutely, like, I had a couple of reels that I made when I last went to Inbound in like 2022, I want to say. And I got 40,000 views on a travel reel on my personal account. Did it change my life? No. Did it garner me like thousands of followers? No. Like, but I just had fun putting out content because it was my personal account. And I'm trying to figure out like, how do I shift my personal account? Because I definitely need some separation between my personal content and my business content. But like, when you have a reel that pops off and gets like thousands upon thousands of views, What'd you get from it? Did you get followers? Did you get lots of engagement? What did it do? Because if it didn't do anything, then maybe it was fun, real, but ultimately, if it's not driving towards any of your overall social media goals, is it really that great of a piece of content? That's the question that I ask you. And maybe the algorithm thought that it was a great piece of content, but we're not creating content for the algorithm. We're not creating content for a robot. We're not creating content for AI. We are creating content for people. We are creating content for our audience, our ideal customers. And, I say to my clients who are B2B, ultimately, you're still marketing to people. There's a person inside that business that you're marketing to who you're not just marketing to their business, like that person inside their business, that's the key stakeholder that you want to get in touch with, that you want to sell to. They have real pain points. They have real needs. And you need to get in the head of your audience to understand those before you can create that valuable content for them. Ultimately, I tell my clients, like, you can get caught up in that, but ultimately it's just going to get in your head. And I don't want that to be reflective of the work that we're doing and all of the positive metrics that we're seeing. People are going to unfollow people. If you're a business on LinkedIn and you get a couple of unfollows, like maybe they were former employees who left and they don't want to follow your shit anymore. Like, the reasons that people unfollow are endless, let's be honest. And, Instagram also purges, bot accounts, and that impacts your follower number. And it's just meh, meh. Like, what are you going to do? Honestly, like, I don't want bot accounts following me anyhow. Like, and Instagram has a fun feature. So it'll show you, if you go into your profile and you click on your followers, it's going to give you a number. And at the top, it's going to show you flagged for a review. Right now, I have 21 followers that are flagged for a review because they either look spammy, they don't interact with my content, whatever it is. I think a lot of these are like bot accounts, honestly. But I don't necessarily want to let go of 21 followers. So I'm going to wait. And eventually, you can remove them from your following. So check the bot accounts that are following you. And then, don't get pissed about your follower count going down, but know that, like, okay, I have authentic followers and not just garbage bot spammy accounts that are following me that aren't even interacting with my content. So when you find yourself getting into these spirals about who is following you, how many people are following you, how many likes you're getting on your reels, all that kind of fun stuff, be mindful about how it's impacting your mental health, how it's impacting your overall strategy. Is it getting in your head? Are you feeling like a failure? Are you feeling like nothing's working? Because here's the thing, social media is a slog, man. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. There is no trick. You cannot just be in social media to go viral, to garner, 50,000 followers, because shit takes time. And if that's why you're there, like, think about those vanity metrics and how they would or would not impact the bottom line of your business. Because ultimately, you can have 50,000 followers, but if none of them are buying from you or working with you, what's the flippin' point? What's the point? That's all I have for today. I feel like this was a shorter episode, but I'm strapped for time because I'm going out of town this weekend. This is probably going to air in like 2 weeks. But my baby stepbrother is getting married this weekend, and we're going up to Vermont, and we're seeing all the family, and I'm super, super excited to celebrate him and his fiance. So I have packing to do because, moms pack everyone. So I got to pack myself, I got to pack my kid, got to make sure my clients all have content going out and all of the things going on. But stay tuned for next week for another episode of Stop the Scroll. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at Heidi Schmidt Creative. Tell me what you love, what you hate, if you think that my podcast is garbage, which I hope you don't. Leave a review. Reviews help me. If there's a topic that you want to hear about for social media, something that you see all the time on Instagram or on Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever you see, and you're like, hey, Heidi, what about this? Send me an email. It's on my website. Send me a DM, whatever you want to do. until next time, keep going out there. Don't get caught up on your follower count and just focus on creating amazing content that your audience loves and values and shows off your amazingness. And until next time, stop the scroll. Bye.